Dobrý den, dámy a pánové, já vás vítám u dalšího videa z hry Alan Wake. Minule se skončí tím, jak jsme zabili tady z Takyho a jak jsme se objevili tam, jak jsme tady před touto čerpací stanicí a na to budeme i rovnou navazovat. Já se teda ještě jenom podívám tady okolo, co se týče stránek a jestli náhodou jsem nepřehlédl nějakou termosku, ale to pochybuji. No, i když, pokud si pamatujete z minulého partu, tak tam jsme našli dvě, že jo, které já jsem při mém posledním průchodu nesebral. Což mě stále nejde do hlavy.
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice.
To je super, tak když Alan o něčem mluví, tak stačí máš F-ko a on se podívá jakoby blíže na tu věc, o které mluví, což se mi moc líbí. Tady nic ale není. Tak, my teda půjdeme, musím se přiznat, ale tohohle jsem si nikdy nevšiml. Člověk si furt všímá nějakých nových věcí, i když to je tu hru hraju po třetí? Po třetí.
After the insanity I had just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting, at least for a moment. The sane world reasserted itself.
Takže člověk si fakt furt všímá nových věcí. A tamhle se můžete všimnout, že je stránka, pro kterou si dojdeme samozřejmě. Tak, i když já už ji mám. No a podíváme se, jestli teda...
The Deer Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now.
Takže opravdu Alan se nepamatuje, co se stalo za poslední týden. Tak doufám, že na to nějak přijdeme časem.
I had to get inside the gas station to find a phone to call for help.
Jasný, tam, i když má to cenu tam chodit teď, nebo... A my se ještě tam budeme muset jít. To je jedno, půjdeme sem, nejdřív já vám to chci ukázat. Protože a poněvadž, když půjdete sem, kromě nepřátel se samozřejmě některé tady potkáme, jo, ale... tady je stránka. Doufám, nebo termoska? Termoska je tady, myslím, že. Jo, tady je termoska. Takže si ji můžete vzít, ale potkáte nepřátelé, jako takovou odměnu za to, že umíte hledat a chodíte na místa, kam vlastně ani nemusíte. Takže... Umři! Tak, wow! Rošťáku jeden. Tak. Toto po mně házíš, tu kudlu. Tak, bezva. A tady fakt nemá cenu se moc dlouho zdržovat, protože stejně tady... Oni se tady budou neomezeně spavnovat, takže co možná nejrychleji pryč. To jsem vám jenom chtěl ukázat. Já už musím. Tak, ale neutíkej, já vím, že už jsi unavený, ale utíkej, tady je světlo, na tebe se nemůžou. Tak, a my půjdeme rychle dovnitř.
The garage was a mess. It looked like someone had trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight. All right, I'll keep writing. Outside there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room. I'll reach her, I'll fix it up. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost. I don't believe this. It'd been me on the TV, talking crazy. Was I losing my mind?
Koho chceš zachránit, Alane, a proč seš všude v temnotě? Doufám, že to zjistíme v průběhu hry, uvidíme. Tak, tady je vidět že tady je ještě nějaké věci, kdyby si chtěli lidé koupit. Hele, ten co máme, ok? Co to je? 68. ročník Jelního festivalu, 15. až 18. září, jelikož dneska 27. září, kdy já natáčím toto video, tak je to docela zajímavé. Hry a aktivity. Tombola, rybářská soutěž, pojídání koláčů a soutěže s překvapením. Živá hudba. Pro děti Zubatý králík odpoledne, Montgomeryho úžasná tajemná fantasmagorie večer. Nenechte si ujít legendární průvod Jelního festivalu. OK. Trošku reference na Simpsonovi. Tady ale já myslím, že jsou vždycky náboje teda. Bramburky. Tak, samozřejmě, ale tady je telefon, tak ho zkusíme teda použít, jestli se dovoláme jestli si zavoláme pomoc, uvidíme.
Bright Falls Sheriff Station. Oh, thank God, Sheriff.
Sheriff Sarah Breaker. You are...
I'm Alan Wake, but listen. I was in a car crash. My wife, Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake, not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head. Are you okay?
Listen.
We'll figure this out. Please get in the car. We'll swing by the lake and then we'll go to the station, okay? Mr. Wake, have you seen Stucky, the guy who owns this place?
I realized I couldn't tell her what had happened in the forest. She wouldn't have believed me. And then she wouldn't have helped me with Alice.
A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night, and just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper.
Previously on Alan Wake. I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice.
Thank you for coming here with me. I thought maybe you could write here.
I don't want to hear it. God damn it, Alice.
Now, she's missing.
Alice? Alice?
I woke up behind the wheel of a crashed car. I'm missing a week. I was attacked by shadowy men straight from a nightmare. The sheriff took me to the lake Alice and I had stayed at, but the cabin had disappeared.
Honey, I'm home.
Back here, sweetie. How was it?
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up.
Takže vidíte, že teda hra je rozdělená na různé epizody, že vlastně ten příběh je jakoby vyprávěný, ale je trošku divné, že ten srub, ve kterém jsme s Alice byli, vlastně neexistuje a tím pádem se ukázalo, že to byla nějaká představa, že ve skutečnosti ten srub neexistuje, takže je to trošičku divné, ale jak jsem slíbil v předchozích partech, tak my se podíváme na ty rukopisy, které si postupně takhle pustíme, což je vlastně i ukázka, což je vlastně takový jakoby doplňující příběh k příběhu z jednotlivých epizod. A my začneme touhle s tou druhou, protože ty už jsme viděli, takže si je všechny poslechneme, protože jsou přečítané Alanem, takže to je určitě super.
The man turned to face me. His face was covered in shadows. It was hard to make him out in the darkness of the forest that surrounded us. But the axe he lifted was plain to see. It glistened with the blood of his victim. He grinned madly. The shadows were alive, distorting his features. It was a scene from a nightmare. But I was awake. The Taken stood before me. It was impossible to focus on it, as if it stood in a blind spot caused by a brain tumor and eye disease. It was bleeding shadows like ink underwater, like a cloud of blood from a shark bite. I was terrified. I squeezed the flashlight like my life depended on it, willing it to stop coming any closer. Suddenly something gave, and the light seemed to shine brighter. I heard them before I saw them, swooping down from the sky and screeching as they came. I spun around just as the cloud was upon me. For an instant, I stared into 100 dead eyes, black pearls glittering in the darkness. I raised the flashlight and the swarm exploded like fireworks. Feathers burned, turned into ash. I couldn't hear my scream above theirs. At first I kept finding the pages as if by accident. The book I couldn't remember was either a terrible and true prophecy, or an act of creation that had rewritten the world. I began to hunt the pages feverishly, for they held the answer to the mystery. With it, I could save myself. With it, I could save Alice. I stepped into the gas station's garage. It was dark and quiet. The place was a mess. It looked like someone trashed the place or that there'd been some kind of fight. Light spilled into the room through an open door at the back, and I made my way toward it. Without any warning, I was blinded by a bright light. An old portable TV on the shelf had come alive by itself. Impossibly, I could see myself on the screen, talking like a madman. "The cabin on Cauldron Lake?" she asked. The sheriff looked at me suspiciously. The early morning light flooded through the office windows. I would probably never have gotten out of the woods alive without her help, but I couldn't tell her the truth of what I'd faced the previous night. She'd think I was lying or crazy. She'd lock me up, and she wouldn't help me find Alice. Stucky spat on the garage floor and tried to shake the cobwebs from his head. Ever since the couple never showed to pick up the keys, things had been fuzzy. Something, a feeling, caught his attention. Stucky looked up and stared as his brain tried in vain to process the horror before him. He stumbled back, knocking over a can of oil. A black pool spread across the floor while he struggled for a brief moment, then let go as the unrelenting darkness engulfed him. Rose knew she had been gushing, but right now she didn't care. As far as she was concerned, her brief meeting with Alan Wake was literally the high point of her life. She watched as he got in the car with his wife. She was pretty, confident, at ease with Wake. Not like Rose. They were perfect for each other. She'd have given anything to be called their friend. Barry Wheeler was bouncing off the walls. He jumped on a plane after his calls were ignored by both Al and Alice for several days. It could mean that they were both on a second honeymoon, but Barry didn't buy it. Al had been way too unstable for that, not sleeping, messed up. Barry had years of experience dealing with Alan Wake, and he couldn't ignore it. Something was wrong.
Takže takhle to budeme dělat pokaždé, když skončí kapitola, respektive když začne kapitola a přečteme si vlastně veškeré stránky z předchozích, vidíte, těch je opravdu dost na příští. Tady mi třeba chybí jedna stránka, dokonce dvě stránky mi chybí, takže třeba je najdeme. A takhle si vždycky pustíme všechny stránky, abyste vlastně měli ještě takový ten background, nebo vlastně takové to pozadí toho příběhu, co se mi strašně líbí, protože tam je to opravdu ještě navíc hodně napsané. Tak tady vidíte, že jsme zpátky v našem bytě v New Yorku a tady se rovnou můžeme sebrat náš další rukopis. To je první věc a je to o 3 roky zpátky. Tak tady se můžeme ještě podívat na naše knížky, které jsme do dneška, nebo respektive do dnešní doby napsali. A vlastně teď si musíme udělat kávu, protože jsme nějaký unavení. Tak jo. Ještě se podíváme za Alice, co tady vůbec vlastně dělá.
Hey, handsome. This is gonna be a long night, but these shots are turning out great.
I guess you're gonna need that coffee then. I'll go put it on.
A Alice tady dělá vlastně cover page na naše stránky. Tady vidíte naše lidské stělesnění, jak vlastně vypadá Alan ve skutečnosti. Takže to se mi taky líbí. A my teď teda, ještě pan tady okolo, tady už nic ale není, pokud si pamatuju. Tady myslím, že je termoskal, tím se nejsem jistý. No a my si jdeme, vidíte venku opravdu je psí počasí, tam to opravdu není pěkné. Sněží, vítr, zataženo, opravdu takové podzimní počasí, až zimní spíše. Tak a my si uděláme kávu.
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow.
Tak a jdeme se podívat za Alice teda. Ještě jednou, pro velký úspěch.
Oh, hey, I just finished those cover mock-ups. They're on your desk. Tell me what you think.
No kidding. I didn't think you'd get them done this quickly.
On occasion, I can perform all sorts of miracles, my dear.
Oh, really?
Well, you seemed to think so last night.
OK. Tak a my se podíváme teda, co pro nás Alice udělala, vlastně tu titulní stránku, ty nové knížky.
These look really good.
Oh, sure, until Barry gets his hands on them. Which, by the way, will happen over my dead body. The last time was the last time. Oh, and speaking of Barry, he called.
Alan? Alan, please check the fuse box.
I'm right here. I'm on it, honey.
Please hurry.
Vidíte, že tady je taky vidět, jak Alice opravdu má fobii ze tmy a teď vypadla elektřina, my musíme nahodit pojistky, takže... Říká vůbec něco
I'm right
ještě?
here, baby.
I'm fine. Just get the lights back on. Now, please.
Vidíte, že opravdu nemá ráda tmu, takže my se zkusíme podívat, jestli ty pojistky dokážeme nahodit.
Honey, it's a power outage. I've got the flashlight.
Okay, hi.
You okay?
I'm sorry. It just really spooked me.
Don't worry. We'll just break out the candles.
I know it's stupid, but it's just... Especially when I'm not prepared for it, you know? It gets to me.
I love you.
Tell me a story, writer.
Okay. I used to have these nightmares when I was a kid. The dark really spooked me, too. When it got really bad, my mom gave me this old light switch. She called it the clicker.
The clicker, huh?
Yeah. If I ever got scared of the dark, I could just flip the switch and a magic light would scare the monsters away.
Oh, sure.
Here it is.
Alan.
Maybe it'll help you, too.
Yeah, nice story, writer boy. You made that up right now, didn't you?
No. Seriously.
I love you, even if you are a liar. Thanks for this.
How do you feel, Mr. Wake? Any nausea, disorientation, anything like that? Mr. Wake, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. My head's fine. I had to lie about my headache and memory loss. He'd send me to a hospital for tests. I couldn't leave without Alice.
Very well. I don't think you have a concussion, but you've obviously been through quite a shock. You should take it easy for a couple of days.
Thanks.
Well then, Mr. Wake, we're done here. If the pain gets any worse or you experience any other symptoms, you should come see me. I'll let you get on with it then. Sarah, Sheriff Breaker, is waiting for you. She's very good at her job. I'm sure she can locate your wife in no time.
Doc Nelson was the image of a small-town doctor. Sheriff Breaker had called him to the station to take a look at the cut in my head.
Takže my se nacházíme opět v přítomnosti vlastně v Bright Falls na té stanici policejní a musíme se teď promluvit se Sárou, prostě budeme říkat normálně česky Sára. A to je pěkný, je to kapr.
I'm sorry you had to cut your morning fishing short for this, Doc.
I believe you'll find the sheriff in her office. Just go down the corridor. Oh, she's a beauty, ain't she? Not the biggest I ever caught, if you can believe that coming from an old fisherman like me, but she's right up there. Now, she's a largemouth bass, which is what you're after if you prefer a lure. Now, if you want either trout or salmon, on the other hand, then it's fly fishing for you. You're good to go, Mr. Wake. Sarah's probably waiting for a chance to talk to you.
OK, tak je to úplně jiná ryba, než jsem říkal, nevadí. Tak my půjdeme samozřejmě ven odsud. Tak, ale tamhle je Sára, ale tam ještě nepůjdeme, my se půjdeme podívat okolo.
Thank you for testing the lights, Miss Weaver. Everything seems to be fine.
I don't have the luxury of being complacent, Deputy Grant. The bulbs will need changing soon. You can't change them in the dark.
I'll be sure to take care of it, Miss Weaver. Have a nice day now.
Very good. I'll come back later on to remind you, just in case.
Zase tady ta paní Weaverová.
Mr. Wake, the sheriff is waiting for you in her office down the corridor.
Že zase zkouší tady
ty
žárovky.
She used to be the editor of the local newspaper, but she's focused on other things these days.
She'd fit right in where I come from.
As you can see, she's a little obsessed with maintaining the light bulbs of the whole town, refuses to step on shadows, things like that. Back in her day, she wrote about all sorts of weird things in the paper. Bright Falls has a colorful history. Of course, what small town hasn't?
Přesně takový ten typický způsob, nebo respektive takový ten typický maloměstský americký život tady. Bright Falls. Ano, to už mi to říkáš asi po 7 dohromady až i s tím pánem, ale já tam ještě nejdu, chápeš to? Tam půjdeme až později do těchto dveří, ale já se chci podívat ještě okolo, protože tady je něco zajímavého pro nás. Tady je stránka, hlavně. A tady taky si můžeme něco poslechnout.
I'm at Stucky's gas station with Thornton. There's no sign of him. Over.
Wait. Yeah, this is Thornton. Look, we've located the parade float. It's here. That's some good news, right? Stucky was supposed to be driving it at the rehearsals today. Over.
Oh, give me that. Mulligan here. Looks like someone really thrashed the garage. Over.
Okay, roger that, guys. Keep looking for Stucky. Jane's out.
Stuckyho už asi nenajdete, když jsme ho už zabili. No, nevadí. Ano, já vím. Ano, už tam jdeme. Jenom se ještě si něco podívat tady. Tak, tady jsou vlastně, tady je takový easter egg, by se dalo říct, to jsou tady jsou vlastně fotky vývojářů. A to se mi líbí, jak je to tady udělané, jako že jsou missing. Tak, ale my půjdeme už konečně ta za Sárou, co pro nás má. Ahoj.
Come in, Mr. Wake. Your phone's on the desk. The battery was dead. It's charged now.
Have you started looking for my wife yet?
My men are already on it. Now, can you tell me what happened?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We were arguing. I walked out of the cabin.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? How did you end up at Stucky's gas station?
I wanted to tell her what had happened last night, but I couldn't. She'd locked me up. Excuse me, I need to take this. Hello?
Alice, please help me.
Alice?
Stop talking to the law. You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little something there to convince you we're all on the same page here. After you ditch the cops, you're gonna meet me in Elderwood National Park. There's a spot called Lover's Peak. Midnight. Don't do nothing stupid, pal. We're watching you.
Hey!
I need to get some air. The sheriff said I could go out back.
Of course, Mr. Wake. You can get there through the cell corridor. Just don't mind Walter in there. He's one of our regulars.
I thought he'd quit drinking for good.
Oh, no such luck. He went on a bender and beat Danny pretty badly. He started shouting like that the moment he woke up.
Takže teď nám volal nějaký neznámý pán, který očividně má Alice a říkal, že teda že se setkáme o půlnoci na Mileneckém vrchu, kam se vydáme asi teď pravděpodobně. Jo, rozsvítíme, proč ne? Jsme hodný.
Good guy. Don't let anybody tell you different. You know, I shouldn't even be in here. The cops, they got it all wrong. See, sure, I beat him up, but I wasn't drunk. I mean, I wasn't drunk at the time. I only got drunk afterward. Okay, listen. You gotta listen carefully now. Here's the kicker. That wasn't Danny. No, sir. It only looked like him. You wanna know who it really was? I'll tell you who it really was. It was a goddamn space alien! I know it sounds like something a drunk would say, but believe me, I wasn't drunk then. Oh, why'd you do that for? You're with them, aren't you? You're those space aliens! You think you got me right where you want? Will you just wait? You just wait. I told him.
Takové ty opelecké řeči koukám, že má. Tak, ale my mu rozsvítíme samozřejmě. To jsem jenom chtěl ukázat, že opravdu to jde, když mu takhle rozsvítíme a zasneme. A jenom tady jste viděli, že jsem sebral prostě další stránku našeho rukopisu. Tak a my jsme tady venku.
The early morning light hurt my eyes and made my head ache. The man on the phone had said, go through the fence on the left.
Tak, ale to není všechno. Ještě než teda půjdeme tam, kam máme, tamhle, tak tady je rádio, které si samozřejmě teď pustíme ještě.
Well, folks, it's been another long night, and it's about time for me to sign off for a while. God knows I need my beauty sleep. Just one more item before I go. It's been a busy night for the sheriff's department. We've had a few broken windows, even a report of shots fired on Main Street. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton had to deal with two intoxicated young men who were celebrating the completion of their Deer Fest float. Now, folks, we get this every year. I know it's exciting, the big day's almost here, but let's save it for the party and leave the gunplay for the shooting competition, huh? There's no point in getting all worked up yet.
OK. Takže to bylo jenom další vysílání, ale my teď musíme jít tamhle, jak je ten starý truck, a tam by měla být nějaká věc, kterou potřebujeme. Vidíte, že Alan je opravdu sila, že dokáže rozkopnout prostě tady tyhle ty plaňky, nebo respektive, no, plaňky, dá se tomu tak říct, úplně na kusy. OK, ale tady máme ještě stránku rukopisu, kterou si samozřejmě sebereme. A máme tady i nějakou věc. To je divné.
Barry? Ow, thank God! Where the hell have you been? I've been trying to reach you for a week, you and Alice. I've been worried sick. I flew out yesterday. I'm here in Bright Falls.
Barry, listen to me. I'm at the sheriff's station. Come and get me. I can't talk now.
Ow, what the hell is going on?
I had to get the sheriff to let me go. I needed to get to Elderwood National Park to meet Alice's kidnappers.
Takže teď nám volá náš agent Barry, který ho budeme potkávat vlastně teď už i během celé hry. A říkal, že už je tady v Bright Falls, takže zkusíme, jestli už tady na té policejní stanici. Uvidíme. Tak, a tam uvidíme ještě něco v televizi.
A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
Proč chceš psát nějaký příběh, aby se zachránil Sáru? To zjistíme doufám později.
Marvelous, Sarah. I just wanted to settle all the damage the Anderson brothers might have inadvertently caused.
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
I'd like to leave. Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh, hey! Oh, my!
Take it easy.
Hey, nobody move! Get your hands off of my client!
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
Get me out of here.
What the hell was that about, Al? We don't need a replay of that thing with the paparazzi. I thought they were gonna lock you up.
I had to talk to someone. I told Barry everything. He thought I was certifiable, but when he heard about the manuscript, I had him. The fact that I'd written something, even if I couldn't remember it, was enough for him. He smelled money. And he believed that Alice had been kidnapped. Anything beyond that was another story. I had a midnight appointment with the kidnapper in a place called Lover's Peak, somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake!
Barry, you found him.
Hi, Rose.
Oh, wow. I was just thinking about you, too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later!
Who's Max?
What an airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody. This is not her fault. She's a very nice girl and, more importantly, a fan. She even has a fan site dedicated to you. And she was very helpful when I was looking for you. Seriously, Al, what you were saying in the car, just listen to yourself. What, you shot a guy and his body just disappeared?
Je to možné, vidíte, že teda jsme se dostali z policejní stanice a setkali jsme se s Barrym, který nás vlastně odtamtud vyvedl. Tak, ale kdo je Rusty a kdo je Max a jestli se dostaneme na milenský vrchol, to si nechám až na příště. Já vám velice děkuji za pozornost, doufám, že se vám toto video aspoň trošku líbilo. Pokud ano, určitě nezapomeňte dát palec nahoru, napsat nějaký pěkný komentář a já se na vás budu těšit buď zde u Alana Wakea nebo u jakéhokoliv jiného let's playe a ahoj.